Okay, once you've got your piece of fabric ready, you're going to take and put a small bead of glue around the entire inner ring so that it'll just an extra little protection to hold it in place. I mean, it doesn't usually slip, but this is just an extra piece of protection. Then you're going to lay your fabric over it and just going to center it, kind of, you can't, sometimes it's hard to see through the material, but just, you can kind of feel where the top and bottom are on the sides and get it centered across it. And then you're going to take your top and open it as wide as you want, as wide as you need, and slide it down on top of it. So that glue will just hold it extra tight. Go through and kind of pull all the edges up so you got it nice and tight in there. Just be careful, don't pull too hard on any one side so you don't get it moved around. Make sure your pieces down in there good. Okay, and then we're going to put our screw back in to hold it, to tighten it back up. And like I said, this would hold it without the glue, but the glue just makes it more secure. Okay. And tighten this as tight as we can get it. We're going to need our hot glue gun in a minute, so let's get that plugged in. I forgot about that. Okay, now this is nice and tight. I'm going to turn it back over to the back, and we're going to trim off our excess fabric. And I found the easiest way is just to use an X-Acto knife. You can try marking and cutting before you glue it. I've tried that. It still ends up with edges that you got to take off with the X-Acto knife anyway. And this just seems to be the easiest way. Now, if you have a thicker material, this might not work as well, and you might have to come up with a different plan, like laying it down and tracing and cutting and all that good fun stuff. But just make sure you trace thick enough that where you cut out far enough outside your tracing.
Okay, son, thank you.
Get your...
This will be your first voiceover.
Yep.
Because I sneezed in it.
Yeah, he talked in it. Yep. But this is a good thing. I want to keep talking so that I have.
Oh, yes.
Once I've got it trimmed off, knock away any fabric pieces, and then I like to just run a bead of glue across the top here, not to really glue anything so much as to keep it from fraying. And so I kind of run me a really thin bead of glue, and then I'll use my fingers to spread it out so that it doesn't look like there's a lot of glue, just to keep everything from fraying out. Okay, clean away what we need. I don't need that glue. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a little bit while we work on making our bow. And I am really about the worst bow maker you could find, so I kind of have a cheater bow that I've learned from a couple of people that I'm going to do today too. Because I just
need... Is it supposed to go with that other piece that we did in the beginning? That you said stop doing? So this one just kind of starts in the middle of you. It doesn't have...
Well, I will say at the beginning that you need to put together the...
Okay. Because I deleted that first video.
I know you did.
I could probably get it back.
You have a big glob there you have to cut out now because of that talking.
Cutting us out.
So yeah, I just make my bow, and I've already made 2, so I know about what size I want because I've already made the 2 for my daughters. And like that, and then come right like this. And if your ribbon has a definite front and back, gotta be careful that you're keeping the right side to the right place, which I didn't do as good a job of on the other ones, but they're acceptable. That doesn't have a solid front and back. And then the way this works, because I can't ever get the tie thing to work immediately, so lay this down for a second. We cut us a piece of thread that's not too long, but I don't want it too short either. So. And we take our little piece of thread and we grab it here with our finger with a little bit holdover to be used for the knots. And we wrap around. And wrap a couple times and just tighten as you go. Tighten everything as tight as you can in there. Now make sure your sizing is about right. Your positioning doesn't have to be about right, but your sizing does have to be about right. And yeah. So we'll keep going a couple more times. And then we knock this off on the back. What's he doing? He's shaking those out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why?
Continue working on the project.
Oh, I didn't know he was going to do that today. I thought he was going to wait till next week. He doesn't think he wants a tree there. The tree's the challenge here. He thinks it's going to close off too much between the 2 houses and make it look like you have a lot less yard.
I do see that point, but I don't care.
Well, when it comes time to sell, it doesn't matter. But so I told him, I said, we can consider a bush. A tree's about $50 for one that's about 4 foot tall, so it's my size. At Lowe's. And then it still needs a central knot, obviously. So then we're going to take another little piece, and we're going to actually tie a little knot in this piece. This piece just needs to be long enough to tie a knot. You're going to end up cutting a little bit of it off because you've got to have enough to work with to tie it, but you don't need very much to wrap around it. So tie us a knot. Here's a nice little knot in the middle here. And I told you it was cheating, so. And then we're going to take and glue it. Told you it was cheating. So we're going to take, we're going to cut off about this much. We don't want too much up there. And then we're going to glue this edge. So you can try what we've done too. Okay, we're going to glue that edge down. A little protector here. And then pull this one up and trim it. And glue this down.
Put that on like my pinky and just go like that.
Do what?
Put the thing on your pinky and it's just there.
Except that I use the other fingers to do this. You know, it's natural to use your other finger.
Yeah.
It's on my finger. I can use it without being on my finger, but it's on my finger. And then we're going to shape our bow up a little bit once we get that in there. Make sure we're happy with the way it's shaped, although you can still adjust it on the fly on there, but I want to shape it up a little bit. To pull these guys up some. I have kind of a gap up here because this one doesn't want to pull up right, but it's okay. Well, we go with it no matter what we got. No, we're not perfect. And then we're going to cut our little ends. And then we're going to take, and we're just going to hot glue it right here at the very top. I tried running the tie thread through it, and it just doesn't look right. So I ended up doing it this way. Glue it right there. All our side guys we're doing this. Hold still up glues. I don't want to get it too low, so you'll be able to see the name, obviously. Okay, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of baker's twine and take it on here and run it through this hole back here. Both on there, good. Do that hole. The hole would come out there and grab you. Of course, the one I'm videotaping is all I have trouble with. Every other one really goes smooth. It's not going at all. Sometimes the stupidest things make a difference. In this case, the other end worked just fine. Okay, now we have that through there. We're going to take our stocking, and this is where our stocking is going to hang, and so we're going to take it and hold it up here about where we want it. And look at this around here. And we're going to tie it about there. I'm going to loosely tie it first, and then check where it's hanging, and then I'll adjust my tying. I think that's hanging about right. There we go. That's hanging. I think that's hanging pretty good. It's kind of hard for me to hold it up and let it hang for you, but you can see. And then so I'm going to go ahead and make these knots tight. And I had a couple more just for safety. Baker's trying to be a pain in the ass this time.
Custom video.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
And then trim off my edges here. Clean up our mess. And that's all there is to it. He's ready to go be hung with his sisters. So, thank you for joining us.